Welcome to the Criminal Defense Show. I'm your host, Kelly Carpenter, and we're going to dive into the exciting world of criminal defense attorneys and learn from their unique journeys and experiences. Today, my guest is Scott Spindell. Scott is a criminal and DUI defense lawyer and owner of the law offices of Scott Spindell. After a successful career as a law clerk at the San Diego County Public Defender's Office, he decided to pursue a law degree at the Thomas Jefferson School of Law, and he founded his own firm in 2000. Scott is a nationally trained instructor in standardized field sobriety tests, and he's handled and won drunk driving and criminal cases and trials all over Southern California. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
We're excited to get to know you. And I wanted to start by asking you just about, in general, the practice history. Tell me about your law practice, how it got started.
After I finished law school in San Diego, I ended up back in Los Angeles. I passed the bar. I worked for somebody for a year, running, so to speak, his criminal practice. He was mostly a PI guy and just liked to dabble in criminal because he thought it was sexy. And it didn't take long before he realized the value that somebody with some training and experience brings. And at the end of a year, I had a lot of great success in year one working for somebody. And it was sort of a time for us to sit down and speak. And we went out, we had a bite to eat, and he decided to take the approach of he can't afford me, so I should just stay on, and told me about how bad it was out there, how young lawyers are putting up shingles and they're getting out of business and they're starving. At least if I stay with him, it'll be a good thing. And, I thought about it and thanked him for the opportunity. And I put up my own shingle on September 1st, 2000. And now we're a little over 20 years, almost 20 and a half years in my own practice. And thank God I'm still here and, humbled by the fact that a large majority of my business is word of mouth and referral still.
What advice would you have to maybe a younger attorney who doesn't really have that network of referrals built up? What advice do you have for them as far as how to go about that and the best way to slowly build a foundation there?
I think young lawyers need to, number one, learn their industry. And I think that's part of the biggest problem that we face these days is too many people just think they can hang up a shingle and call themselves a criminal lawyer, and more importantly, a DUI lawyer, because everybody out there is a DUI lawyer with their, $2,000 retainer fee, but has no background training and experience. I spend more than $2,000 going to a national seminar twice a year. And that's the reality of it. My advice to somebody handling criminal, learn the material, know yourself, and put yourself out there. It's okay to solicit older lawyers, make appearances, ask them to learn stuff, ask them to tag along. I did it. I was in law school second chairing murder trials with a public defender, my dear friend who's since passed, Scott, and I wouldn't be where I am today without his guidance. You can't get these places on your own. I'm where I am because of other people's help. And if somebody didn't help me or I didn't have the desire, I wouldn't be here.
Of course. Well, there's obviously a ton of things to do as a practicing attorney, let alone someone who's running your own business. I'm curious, how do you prioritize your time and responsibilities with all the different things that you have to do?
My number one priority is my clients. It always has been. And I'm a horrible businessman. I hate it. I dread it. But I do my best, but my number one priority is my clients. And that's why, while I don't necessarily give out my cell phone, I am 24/7. I'm available. When I get new calls, when I have clients that need things, there's email, there's text messages, there's phone calls. I try to be available. Rarely in 20 years have I had to tell somebody, look, enough. Okay. When it's a good question, call me. When it's something important, call me. Otherwise, I don't need to talk to you at 9:00 on a Saturday night.
You don't want to have a Saturday night call with your clients? Come on.
It wouldn't be the first and it won't be the last. Every once in a while, I got to pause and go, enough already, but it's rare. My clients are awesome, and I'm fortunate. I'm blessed to have clients that trust me, and we work together. We're a team. And if you don't approach your clients as a team, you don't work with them, you don't be available to them, then you're doing them a disservice. I see it every day in court, and it's offensive and disgusting.
I think that's really cool that you have figured out, where your strengths and maybe I don't want to even call it a weakness, but where your strengths are. And that's what you focus on, the client service aspect and being there for your clients. And even though you're self-admittedly not the best businessman in the world, you're still successful because you are following what is really important to you. And that's paying off as far as your practice and to your clients with the experiences that they get with you.
Look, how do you measure success? And I don't have an answer for it. And I've never figured it out. But to me, if you can wake up every morning happy, enjoying what you do, and you can find time in your life to enjoy your family, your kids, a round of golf, or whatever it is that floats your boat, then you're successful. To some people, success is a bank account. And I'm never going to have that bank account. I'd love it, but I'm not willing to take on 100 new clients a month and pawn them off to somebody else because I'm a control freak and I own it. But my clients get me. I appear, I dispute the cases, I fight the cases, I negotiate the deals. And it's that reputation that sometimes gets me some really amazing deals that you can't get otherwise.
What other best practices have you discovered that work really well for you?
I think the most important thing when talking to somebody is just honesty. COVID changed everything. Up until COVID, I wouldn't even discuss fees on the phone with a client. I had 2 rules. You have to come in and meet me, and I don't talk about fees over the phone. If you're window shopping, then you're not my client. And it's not because I charge a lot. It's because I want to get to know you. I want to talk to you. I want you to know me because I'm not right for everybody either. So the reality of it is that it's a relationship and you got to feel comfortable with the person. I tell everybody 2 most important things: properly trained and qualified and comfortable. If both of those match, then you don't go any further. The only other consideration is maybe I just can't afford somebody. But my fees are far less than they should be or could be, especially if I was in a different market. But I'm more expensive than the guy charging you $2,500 who's going to walk in and plead you out.
Right. I'm curious how you deal with this common theme that happens with a lot of incoming calls to lawyers. How much do you charge for a DUI? When they ask that's the first thing they ask, and that's what they immediately go to. How much do you charge for this type of case? What's your next move when they do that?
Listen, I really appreciate the call, but with all due respect, it's a ridiculous question. I don't know anything about the case. I don't know where it is. I don't know anything. Let's talk about the case. Figure it out. I know my background, training, experience, but I don't know anything about you. And we have to talk about it. You got to get to know the person. You got to get to know the facts. You can't rubber stamp. This is not buying a loaf of bread at the grocery store. Not every shoe fits. So just like I may not be right for everybody, not every price is right for people. Okay, I have represented multimillionaires. I have represented people in the movie industry, music industry, supermodels, and I still don't charge a different fee than I do for anybody else.
That's rare. And even more rare that you're concerned about karma. You really believe it. I love it.
Look, when you start out at 20-something years of age, trying to pay your bills in an apartment, and you don't know if you're going to get 2 new cases this month, you think $5,000 coming in, you hit the lottery. And the reality of it is you got to work because there are months that nothing comes in. And there are other months that there's a flood. And as one of my mentors once told me, if it's worth doing, it's worth charging for. So I don't necessarily fully subscribe to that because I still believe that I have to earn the money that people pay me. So there are times I get calls and I'm like, you know what? Listen, let me just make a couple of calls. Let me just find out what's going on. Maybe there's something I can help you with. Maybe there's not. And if there is, I'll tell you what it'll cost. But if not, at least you have the information and you know.
I love that. I think that's a great way to handle that situation. there's a lot of attorneys who might be concerned about the work-life balance and allowing work to like take over everything when they're that available, but you do still need to be there for your clients. So how do you balance those two things?
Very, very delicately. Maybe it's easier for me because I don't have 200 cases a month. Maybe it's easy for me because I go out of my way to make my clients knowledgeable. A lot of lawyers, whether it's criminal or DUI, or they think it's the same thing, they don't take the time to make sure their clients understand things. And if you don't, then it only sets up failure. Charge them $2,000, make 2 appearances, plead them guilty, give them a piece of paper because you force them to come into court when they really don't have to. 98% of the time, my clients never see the inside of the courtroom, if not closer to 100% of the time, probably 99%. And it's because I do it for them. And I argue with the judges that demand it to make it happen. But if you're not willing to put yourself out there and fight, then why? It's not about making it easier on you. It's helping other people maneuver through a system that's usually foreign to them. Most clients have never been in trouble before. So you got to step up and take care of them. And if they know, and the more information you give them, the less questions they have.
It's true that proactive communication goes a long way, doesn't it?
Huge, huge way. Makes a big difference. And when you answer their questions, look, I know some lawyers that will get the emails and they'll just rip off a quick response. 90% of the time I get that question, it's like, look, I can't text you an answer to that. Let's talk tomorrow. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk about it. Go this direction, figure it out. And that's how we make it work.
And I'm sure they appreciate that so much. And it just sets the stage and the tone for your relationship with your client.
It always is a good thing. Set out the rules. Rules are simple. Don't ever lie to me. Tell me the truth and always communicate. If you are available to me, I can be available to you.
So important. Well, I want to pivot next into your specialized training, that you're a nationally trained instructor in standardized field sobriety tests. And I'm curious why you decided to go down that path.
It's actually a great question. When I opened my own practice in September of 2000, I had actually never handled a DUI. I thought all crimes were, crimes. Hey, I left my former employer and I think I took with me half a dozen cases, a murder case, a 3 strikes case, a robbery case. And I got these calls on DUIs. And it wasn't until talking to somebody that I realized DUI is its own special area. It is a totally different type of law, totally different knowledge base. You're looking at the science. You're not looking at, did somebody point a gun at somebody? Was somebody on property that wasn't theirs and it was a trespass? Did you enter somewhere with the intent to steal something? Did you take something and what was the value? Felony or misdemeanor? When you're talking about a DUI, you're talking about the machines, accuracy, maintenance, blood, breath. Back then, urine was even somewhat prevalent. Field sobriety tests, video, rising BACs, falling BACs, all types of things. And I realized I had to make a choice. And going back to our other discussion, I either do something right or don't do it at all. Simple rule. So I made a decision to either refer cases out that were DUI or learn how to do them properly. I chose to learn how to do them properly.
And I bet there's tremendous value in that, not just for you as a practicing attorney, but also for your clients because you market those things on your website. I've seen it. As well you should. That's a ton of work. You want to make sure people know that, like, hey, I'm backing up what I do with training and with real life experience. Do you find that clients latch on to those things and that makes them feel more comfortable in hiring you?
Yeah, I think that when people get past window shopping and are sincere and serious about finding a lawyer that's going to fight for them, I think that they want to know what your background is. And again, going back to our whole discussion on karma, I don't talk bad about other lawyers. What I will tell you is that if after 20 years, I don't know who the person is, they're not a member of the organizations, they can't tell you that they attend national seminars, and advanced training in this specific field, then there's a problem, at least in my opinion. That's the people that you want fighting for you. The people that are willing to take a case to trial, the people that can get the deals, and when they can't, can at least back up the arguments.
Yeah. Well, there might be some people listening to this who are thinking, oh man, I need to do some more training. I need to do some more conferences. I need to get more involved. If they're having a hard time figuring out which things to get involved in, what advice do you have for them to try to kind of narrow in on what they should do, what they should focus on?
I don't care what state you're in. There's always a state organization that's hosting DUI seminars. Whether nowadays, a lot of them are virtual. I know they're doing them in Washington State. I know friends who are doing them in Texas. I know friends that are doing them in Florida, New York, Oklahoma, California. They're happening everywhere, and it doesn't change. And as soon as we start getting a little bit out of this bubble and doing some more traveling, these conferences are happening. But here's the thing. You have to understand that there are still conferences that are above your head, okay? Mastering Scientific Evidence in New Orleans is one of the best seminars in the country, but it's over most people's head. It just is. It was over my head for years. And you also have to decide what topics are actually relevant to your location. But I really highly recommend beginner seminars, ways to learn how to use the information, breakout groups of cross-examination, skill sets, trying to learn how to pick a jury, who to pick for your jury, opening statements, closing statements, how to relate to a jury when we all know that nobody likes DUI. I don't care if it's an '08 and nobody's hurt and it was just, rolling a stop sign. People still hate people that drink and drive. We know that from studies.
What do you think your top attributes and skills are that have made you successful?
I listen and I care. And I think that's just really what it boils down to. Even if it's in a miscommunication, if somebody suggests that they didn't know something or they weren't informed of something, I mean, it doesn't happen often, I lose it because I didn't do my job. And a lot of the time it's not me, but I'm happy to explain it again. But the moral of the story is I care about my clients. Most of my clients become friends. And I say that to people and they don't get it, but I'm very unique. My uncle passed away at age 50 of cancer back in 2000. And he was kind of a unique guy. He did workers' comp, hated what I do. But what was fascinating was it didn't matter how much money was in the bank. He could hang out with ditch diggers and doctors and lawyers at the yacht club. It didn't matter. And I took that from him also. I ride Harleys with guys that people would find disgusting and disturbing. I play poker with a huge walk of life, from guys that own burger joints to guys who sell insurance. I smoke cigars with anybody who wants to smoke a cigar. I live by a simple creed. If you're a good person, you've got a great attitude, a good personality, then we got something in common. Let's have a cigar. Let's talk. My common thing is when I'm talking to a clerk or somebody who calls and goes, "Oh, good morning, Mr. Spindell." Let's just stop there. It's Scott. That's my name. That's who I am.
Is that a Houdini poster behind you?
It is.
I see like the edge of the word. Okay, I had to know what it said back there.
I'm very lucky. I've always been a fan of the original movie with Tony Curtis. Houdini was an amazing magician with an amazing story. And I came across this at a gallery, and it's actually an exact replica and reprint of the old sandwich boards made on the same machines. It's all hand-woven paper. You need to wear gloves to touch it. And each color is put on one at a time from a special press that was used in the early 1900s. And there were only like 9 left in existence. And it was all made in France. So I saw it, and between 8 different types of handcuffs on a guy, getting out of them. What better way to represent criminal defense, right?
Exactly. I love it. Well, do you have any other advice for people? We've covered a lot of stuff, which has all been so great. But do you have any other closing thoughts, any other last pieces of advice?
Work hard, work to live, work to enjoy your life. Don't let your work ruin your life. Don't let it guide you. Enjoy your life, because there will be plenty of other times. Count your blessings, work hard, know your stuff, take care of your clients. It'll pay off.
I love it. It's a perfect summary. Thank you so much, Scott, for being here. You've done so great. You've given us so much wonderful information. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next time.